Kakadosh, Erev Tov. Good evening. We're going to continue with, this is going to be shiur number 4. Okay, we're going to go until the end. Okay, so basically, we're going to start as follows. Practical applications of Maritain. Right, which means, Mamash halakha al-maseh. Let's start with Maritain. What are you allowed to do, not allowed to do? So, בחלק הזה נעשה ממה שלמדנו בחלק הקודם. Yeah? הוא רצה בעברית, והוא נעלם. Yeah, in this part, we were going to learn, right, the certain parts about how do you apply it halakha al-maseh, the reality nowadays. רוב הפוסקים נוטים להחמיר, right, כמו שמשל, ולהימנע ממניתיים בבישול ובאכילה, וממן שנראה כאיסור תורה, וממן שנראה כאיסור דרבנן. Majority of the acharonim, they're machminim on everything. So meaning there's no difference whether it's going to be meat or whether it's going to be the Yisur Doraita of Basar v'chalav, Yisur Drabanan of Basar v'chalav. Because if you remember, we brought down one shita that you only have a Yisur Maritain when there's going to be a Maritain on a Doraita. If it's going to be a Maritain on a Drabanan, so for example, chicken and almond milk, there wouldn't be a problem. But Halakha Ma'aseh, he says, we're machmir on everything. Whether it's going to be on the Doraita, whether it's going to be on the Drabanan, whether it's going to be on Bishul, whether it's going to be on Achila, ala kol. We're machmir nowadays on everything, on all the maritain.
Who is
everybody. Ulam, afilu lefi dea machmira zo, yitachen shesibon utzvo latir, befrat mitziruf im deot makilot yuter. However, though, we're going to have some kulot. We're going to have some of the different, different leniencies. So we have to find out, especially when you're going to do tziruf, so there's going to be kama kulot, and we have to know which leniencies we're going to have. So number 1, motzarim yeduim. We're on page 17.
I know,
but page 17, well-known products.
Okay.
Yeah? Motzarim yeduim. Well-known products. So it says like this. Biyamenu nowadays, right? Yesh arbe motzare parve. Shekulam makirim shedumim lechalav ubasar. Nowadays, there's so many things which are parve that everybody knows that it looks like meat or milk, but it's parve. Yeah, it's parve. For example, glida parve. Parve ice cream. Once upon a time, ice cream was only milky. Nowadays, it's incredible. Yeah. Sometimes you come and you'll buy the thing, and
you think it's milky,
and you think, is it bichlal? Yeah, fine.
No,
next, chalav soya, right? Yeah, chalav soya. Chalav soya is soya milk. Katzef, all these things, it's known. Meaning the majority of the people, they know what's going on. Right? והגאון רבי יוסף יביע אומר, וספר הכשרות ועוד האחרים כתבו שמותר לאכול בשם מוצרים אלו עם חלבי או עם בשרים, שכולם יודעים שיכולים להשתמש בהם, כך שאין עוד בעיה של מניתיים, right? שאדם אוכל ומבשל בשר וחלב, and look at the מקורדין, right over there, which means nowadays there's just so much of it, right? Tofu, there's a parve cream cheese, right? Or all these things, it's so well known that even though I'm going to have a cheesecake and it's going to be written parve, I know that it's fake cheese, right? Huh? Yeah, it's not only that it exists, it's common. Common means that it's well known and it's common, right? Everybody wants to attack before we continue.
What is it?
You want to save yourself here?
Yeah. What is it? Soup?
So he comes and he says now like this. What about hamburger and gvinat simchit? So nowadays it became a very famous concept called the impossible burger. Yeah, what is impossible burger? So let's speak about it. So it's a burger with vegan cheese, right? 1 second. The impossible
it's a vegan burger with real cheese.
Is which one?
Just the patty, the impossible.
The impossible.
It's a brand. It's a brand of patties.
It's bread, a veggie.
No,
the entire thing.
It's a brand.
It's a brand. Okay, fine. No, but 1 second. But it's meat just with fake cheese, or it's also not even meat.
It's fake meat.
It's fake meat.
Yeah.
Everything is fake. Okay, fine. Okay, so everything is fake. Fine. No, because here it says like this. We're going to speak about manitain. לגבי מוצרים פרווה שידועים לכל, אבל האם יש בעיה שמניטיים הם מוצרים פחות מוכרים, שנראים כמו בשר וחלב? לדוגמה, רשת Impossible Burgers, right? He says, מוכרת המבורגים צמחיים, שמראה וטלון שכמו בשר אמיתי, right? And now the question is, can you come and put cheese? So basically, can I come and take the Impossible Burger and use it with real cheese?
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
So, בדומה לזה, האם מותר לתת גבינת צמחית על המבורגר, right? שאתה צולה במנגל, or the other way around. I have my hamburgers on my mangal, right? On my, my barbecue. And all of a sudden I come in and bring them on. And all of a sudden I put a cheese. Right? And John Jack's looking at me and saying, Rabbi!
Maybe you have to put a sign.
So that's the question. Do you have to put a sign or not?
We're talking about
Maritain. Yeah, Maritain, that's the question. Obviously, there's no bishul, because if it's not basar v'chalav, there's no bishul and there's no isur v'achila. The question is Maritain. Is there a problem with Maritain? No, why?
Depends
You
who
saw
makes
it
it.
from Jack's eyes. He was looking at me as if.
But I saw it as you. I wouldn't.
With the Mashiach, there is
Ah, we did it.
if I'm alone at home, we said that my time, even if I'm alone at home in my room, nobody can see.
Yeah. Okay. Can you what?
Can I do this even if I'm alone at home in a closed room?
So that's we're going to speak about that. One second. Now the reason why is because if you're going to hold that it's going to be nisur doraita, because it looks like a doraita, so even in your home you have a problem. Especially that here you're cooking, you're not even eating. So for it becomes even worse, right? But let's see. So he comes and he says like this: there is actually a Shulchan HaLevi. The Shulchan HaLevi comes and he says as follows: Shulchan HaLevi is Rav Belsky, because Rav Belsky was a Levi, right? Anyone knows who Rav Belsky is?
No.
Rav Belsky was one of the Dolim of America, right? One of the heads of the OU, and he's the father-in-law of Rabbi Gross. He's also the father-in-law of Rechnitz. Anybody heard of Rechnitz? Yes. So Shlomo Rechnitz, very good. Chazak Baruch. Lolo. You're always on the ball. Yeah? Always on the ball. So he's the father-in-law of Rabbi Gross, right? Mrs. Gross, the principal of Bet Yaakov, right? Of Beis Yaakov, she's the daughter of Rabbi Belsky. She's the daughter. Yeah? She's an incredible personality, right?
Yeah.
They were making a joke that she once spoke at a Beis Yaakov, I think it was a graduation.
Yeah.
And somebody once, one of the people that they were in the Kehillah, Rabbi Gross said, wow, if she speaks like that, imagine she could have a better crowd than her husband. Yeah, because she's the daughter of Rabbi Belsky. So she's she's a very powerful, right person. Fine. But anyway, so here he says like this, Shulchan HaLevi. Shulchan HaLevi says, יכולים להגיש בסעודה. What? Burger, גבינה, אם ברשימת התפריט תובא הערה מובאת למעלה, כיוון שזה יהיה היכר לאנשים רבים, שההיכר צריך לתת איזה אות כלשהו, אבל אינו צריך להיות ברור מוחלט שאינו מטעה. הפרסום הזה והפריטים יותר מגלים על הגבינה הצמחית שהיא פרווה, מכל השקלים שבעולם, מכל מקום, כיוון שדבר מפורסם הוא שעושים גבינה צמחית, די להודיע בצורה כזו. So if you remember, we did speak about this last week. Why did everyone say that? No? I think we did. I think Philip was right. I think we spoke about this last week. What is he trying to say? He's trying to say, how do you come and get out of the problem? So according to the Shulchan HaLevi, he's posek that as long as you write it on the menu, that it's vegan cheese. So we did speak about this.
We say that as long as it's mentioned on the
menu,
it's okay.
So then it's going to be okay, right? That was the concept of Maritain. There's no problem with Maritain.
We talked about the mangal.
We don't speak about mango?
Not sure.
Okay, so
The
maybe
restaurant we did, for sure.
okay, fine. No, but we spoke about buying a drink at a rest stop in the airport?
Yeah.
So we did speak about all these things.
The
But we
person who walks by.
McDonald's. Yeah.
Okay, so if everybody knows, you can ask questions.
It's a very good question. So let's start asking them. So one more time. So what did you say? If right now you see it on the menu, so therefore what happens?
There is no need.
You don't need. Why? Because the menu is even better than a siman on the table. Because the menu is where everybody comes and they're going to check, what are you getting? So therefore, if you're going to come and you're going to get it, so therefore you already know that there's no problem, right?
I'm sorry.
And if you see a group of people,
We stopped in G.
if you see a group of
So
people,
we're going to have to
no?
go to G then. What do you say?
If you see a big group of people, no?
What do you mean you saw a big group of people?
You have to read some.
Very good. Kol hakavod. Psst. Yeah, very good. Right?
What's the question?
No. He didn't give a question. He gave another answer. Right? But 1 minute. So he gave another answer of what we spoke about. One of them was, if you remember, the heker. What was the heker? The heker is on the menu, because the menu is always more important than anything else. Right? Even though sometimes you also have to do the other way around.
But if you're walking by.
Very good. So Rav Abadi comes and he adds, right? Sorry, there's going to be another reason, right? Is that once it becomes well known that the restaurant uses vegan cheese, so then there's no more, right, maritain anymore, which means the entire concept of what we mentioned of maritain is only going to be, first of all, that it should be, right, clearly visible. And therefore, even if a passerby might, not make the connection or whatever it is, right? Maybe they just added it, but he said, but at the end of the day, on the menu, it's a bigger heker than what's even the passerby. Because I'm going to ask you a question. You come and you have some small almonds.
The cane is not enough.
Which
You
one?
came to on the
So very good. So the Rav Abadi wanted to say that he comes and he says that if the entire group of people are eating it, the heket is not needed because we're not going to suspect the entire group doing an avirah, and therefore that's the reason why they could give hashgacha on it, because either they're writing vegan on the menu, or it's well known that obviously this restaurant has a lot of cheese and all these things, which that's the majority nowadays, or large people. When there's a large people doing an avirah, I'm not going to suspect. The reason why is because it doesn't make sense. You have such a big, large group of people and they're all doing an avirah. So because of that, we say that there's not going to be an isur. Okay?
It's a kosher place, strictly kosher.
Strictly kosher and everything. So therefore, you're not going to suspect 100%.
Not a restaurant that is.
No, 100%. But by the way, you should know it works the other way around. You don't know how many times you can make a mistake, right? For example, on the phone. I'll give you an example. This happens all the time, right? There's a store here, right? That basically that they have a very similar name to a non-kosher store.
Exactly.
So a person has to be very, very careful, right? We should be very, very careful, right? What exactly, right? We should be very careful. Why? Because if people don't realize, they come and they make a mistake, right? The same mistake is going to be something which is called holy toast and kosher holy toast. There's going to be a new store which is going to be called. But no, so there's a kosher holy toast which is going to be kosher, and the Winwood one is not. Very good. So that one's not kosher. So you have to be careful about that. So you do see that So the difference though is when you come and you say kosher holy toast,
allowed to call it
right? No, but if you say kosher holy toast, so therefore that's already a heket, right? Why? Because holy toast is not kosher, but kosher holy toast, right? Which one? Carrot is yeah, it should be the kosher carrot, but it should be. You're right.
What they gave an exception.
With the same name. But what I want to say, you're right. But now the question though is that really prohibited? The carrot is behemet a problem. Until today, the carrot is a problem. I don't know why they still allow it. But the kosher holy toast does make sense to say this is the kosher just like the kosher McDonald's or a kosher I don't know what. One of them is going to be kosher holy toast. It only says holy toast. No, so it's supposed to be kosher holy toast.
No,
It's downstairs.
Yeah,
It's already, and it only just says holy toast. Okay, so I'm gonna have to speak to them again. But he was working on it. That had to be kosher holy toast, right? They had to make sure that everything's.
Very
Very big issue.
100%.
that's the only character.
You're right. Exactly, and that's the problem. Why is it a problem? Because you go online, you make an order, and you didn't realize you got it from the Carrot Express or from I don't know what carrot, and it always looks same menu, same everything. So it's a problem.
But is
You
it the
understand?
brand Carrot that makes
not the same, I think.
The same owner.
It's the same. Not really. This owner is really. It's a brother-in-law, whatever it is.
It's a brother.
brother?
Brother is the brother.
Peggy?
Is her brother.
Her brother.
Peggy's brother.
There is
Yeah.
a Subway kosher.
Yeah, you're right.
One.
Yeah, 100%.
I ate over there.
Yeah.
Which
But
one
anyway.
is a Subway closure?
You know,
By the way, you should know, it actually also once happened to me once. What happened to me once is that I went to, I don't remember if it was Pittsburgh. I don't remember even where I went. I went to some place. So I go online, good kosher restaurants. And it comes up one. I said, okay, fine. I go inside and all of a sudden I come and I see like some cheeses. And I'm looking and I'm like, all of a sudden there, I see meats. And I'm like, is this place kosher?
You see it over there?
No, I didn't sit yet. I came in and I'm like, is this place kosher? He said, yes. So I said, can I see the certificate? So now they don't know what to answer you anymore. What certificate? Right? And I'm like, you just said it's kosher. Can I see the certificate? Because I'm looking and I thought maybe it's I thought that was maybe it was I don't know what, parve cheese. I don't know what. I'm looking, I'm like, there's something wrong here. It was not kosher. But on the thing, yeah, because all you have to do is put kosher. Now, how can you prove it's not really kosher? It's not really it's a balagan. So a person always should make sure with ashkachot, right? You should always make sure behemet, to look into it and to check behemet that whether it's really yes or no. You understand? Not the
Not only that, but you
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
You search kosher.
And it gives you everything.
Not kosher.
You're right. It's a problem.
But they
in Hollywood there was a 17 17, what is it called?
17 and sushi.
17.
Sushi.
It used to be a place, they closed it up. But I went there, it was Motzei Shabbat, and I was with Rabbi Biton. And we went there, and everybody was ordering sandwiches. And I said, I want a sandwich. So they ordered sandwich and sandwich and sandwich. And I said, I want a special sandwich. You gotta wait for that. So, okay. So they're finishing their sandwich, and I haven't been served. And I said, listen, I need my sandwich. What happened? Oh. He said, it's not here. I mean, we don't have that. I said, why didn't you tell me before? My rabbi and my wife. I said, you know what? Let me talk to the mashgiach.
No.
The what? The mashgiach. I said, okay. Where is he? No, he's outside smoking a cigarette. I said, okay. When he comes out, where is the mashgiach? How many cigarettes he smoked already? The guy was not there. It was not a guy, it was a lady. And the lady was not there. I said to the rabbi, B, אין פה משגיח. הכל שיחזירו את כל הכסף ותיתן להם את הכל. And he told everybody that was sitting there, ask for your money back because this is not kosher, there is no mashgiach. They closed the Hollywood ליד הקזינו. Hard Rock.
G17?
Huh?
No, there's no one.
That was the name 17. They closed up the place.
באמת? Okay, so there you go. You have
G?
no. 17.
Yeah,
17. 17. 17.
אבל המשגיח
לא היה
הייתה
בכלל.
שמה.
Islands.
Huh?
על ה-441.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a balagan. Balagan. Yeah, fine. Next.
So it could be kosher, and you're not eating kosher.
You're not eating
because
kosher.
there is no mashgiach.
100%. You have a problem. 100%. Fine. Next. Okay. Buying a drink at a rest stop or the airport, we already mentioned, are you allowed to enter a non-kosher restaurant or the rest stop? So we said, yeah, you're allowed to, no problem. No shech paskin the mashgiach who's traveling late at night. He could go in for McDonald's for a coffee, or he explains that today everyone's well known, that they come, they take these things, there's no problem. Okay? He comes and he says that it's a case, anything which is found in the Shulchan Aruch, it's going to be okay. Fine. Business meeting in a non-kosher restaurant, if you remember, we brought down also Rav Asher Weiss, right? That we said that it's okay, even though Rav Moshe Feinstein said it's a sur. Rav Asher Weiss הוא אמר שזה כן מותר להיכנס לתוך איזה מסעדה לא כשרה. למה? בגלל עוד פעם, היום הרבה אנשים נכנסים, ואז ממילא ברגע שהרבה אנשים עושים את זה, אז זה מותר. A lot of people, they permit it. This is Rav Neventzal, Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, cooking for a non-Jewish father. Okay, fine, so we're on G then. Everyone has it? G.
In the restaurant.
באמת?
Yeah, for business meeting.
Where, in France?
Right. There was a kosher restaurant that would bring like plated, they would make like plated like with their plate, come in the non-kosher restaurant and serve you
Wow.
Yeah, Las Vegas also some restaurants.
אין בעיה להיכנס או יש בעיה לשבת?
לא, הוא אומר, אין בעיה להיכנס ולשבת.
כן, נגיד, דיברנו על זה, על האיירפורט.
כן, בדיוק, באיירפורט וגם במסעדה.
לשתות בירה. שירה.
But the whole issue is that you can't break bread.
אתה יכול לשבת שם ולשתות.
No, but it's also maritime. You're going into a non-kosher restaurant, you're going to eat non-kosher. So obviously, so...
But you have to take
אתה יודע, אני ראיתי...
No, so that's what we spoke about last week. You don't need to.
הבן שלי ראה מישהו this week, keep everything in... he asked me, is kosher? פורביטה. פורביטה. Yes, I told him, זכות, I don't know, maybe just drink, maybe this, but...
Okay, so there you go.
Once in a while, you're going to see a few capotas ordering them.
No, he's sitting with his wife outside.
Sometimes it's a mistake, by the way. The reason why sometimes it's a mistake is they don't know that it's not kosher. So they go by and they come by and they say, oh, there's a kosher place. And then only afterwards you come and you tell them, hey,
Afterwards, they don't know.
They don't know.
Why they don't know? Why is it?
Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes
There's
they...
a Jewish guy who comes in and he orders a juice,
Okay.
fresh juice, that.
So he thinks that the entire place is kosher.
So then they
אז הוא נכנס, ואז הוא גם כן, ואז הוא פתאום הוא מבקש משהו אחר.
Pura vida.
Yeah.
Rabbi, you know how many times you find Hasidims there?
So that's what he just said.
Drinking? Yeah, drinking fun.
They go
Fine,
inside
gelatin.
and they ask for the juices, the natural juices.
Yeah. Gelatin. This is today what's new. Okay, gelatin. As mentioned above, can gelatin design? כפי שהזכרנו לעיל, just like we mentioned above, המטרה של זמן זה בספיחת חבר היא ללמוד את ההלכות המעשיות והמצויות ביותר של בשר וחלב, לכן אנו נדלג על הסעיפים ה' עד ט' ועל רוב סעיף י' שעוסקים במקרים שאנו מצויים כיום, או אנו נתמקד בדברי הרמה בסעיף י'. right, שהדין שלו לגבי בשר יבש יכול להיות בעל השלכה משמעות לגבי הדין של ג'לטין. Right, and there's a video. I don't know anybody has a video. I don't know my phone. You want to put the video?
Which video? Sorry.
It's over here. bit.ly. Or come here. Let's copy this. We're able to copy.
What is red dye? Sorry.
Which one?
What is red dye?
Red dye. Yeah, le rouge, the dye, the ink. Yeah, colorant. Colorant.
C'est de fourmi.
No, not Laurent.
No, not Laurent. Colorant. 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 Yeah, you have to color. Yeah. So basically there it's going to show us how to make gelatin. Is gelatin kosher? That's the question. Okay?
You have to, Rabbi.
We're on page 20.
Ici, ça marche pas.
Everyone has it or not?
It's not working, the link.
It's not working, the link?
Click on it. You don't have the.
No, but I don't have it on the computer.
Yeah,
On this
it's in the
computer.
front.
Chaval, I have it at home.
You put the com maybe?
I should have put it on this computer and then read from the thing.
No, it's not working.
No?
No.
Nada?
The website not.
Let's go.
Okay.
So basically like this. So the question is, can we now take gelatin capsules? What does that mean? Different types of gelatin. Why? Because if we just said that it's going to be made from non-kosher parts, whether it's going to be from the animals, from the insects, from all these different things, so now what are you supposed to do? So there's a Bet Yosef. Yeah, it says here, most gel casings and medicines are made from gelatin. Are you allowed to take these gel capsules? Okay, for the Advil, this, that, there's a lot of them. So are you allowed to or not? So there's a Bet Yosef. The Bet Yosef quotes a Shibulei Aleket. Look at number 30. Bet Yosef says, כתב שיבולי הלקט אור קיבה, עמוד 7 למטה. כתב שיבולי הלקט אור קיבה שהם הולכים ומשאירים אותו. When they're going to come and they're going to dry it up and they salt it, it's going to be מותר. תכיוון שנתייבש האור, because once it becomes so dried, הביא כעץ בעלמא. It's like etz. It's like ממש, it's like a piece of wood. Right? That it becomes so dry. כן, בדיוק, there's no time. So therefore, אין בו שום לחלוכי בשר. So since there's no לחלוכי בשר, no problem. קפיש or not?
Regular gelatin?
Yeah, non-kosher gelatin, obviously. If it's kosher, so what's going on?
Capsule and all that.
Oh, 1 second. Yeah. So let's see. So the Bet Yosef quotes the Shibbolei Aleket that he says if you're going to salt the stomach of an animal until it's completely dry and make it made into a pouch, you're allowed to add milk to it. Why? Because there's nothing there. Fine. Based on this Rama, right? Based on this Rama, the Patash quotes Tiferet Tzvi, who allows using dried beetles and bugs as a dye, since the dried bugs are halachically considered wood. So imagine you've got a bug. You're not allowed to use a bug, but I'm going to use the bug as a dye. You know what a dye is? A color, right? Colorante, yeah. So, mutar. Why? There's nothing there. So he says, the Nod of Yehuda, which is number 31, he's going to come, which is on page 8. He's going to come and he's going to argue, right? And he says like this. The Nod of Yehuda argues on the Tiferet Tzvi, and he says that it's going to be asur, right, from non-kosher animal. He explains that the leniency of dried meat quoted in the Ramah is only to milk and meat, since the prohibition of mixing meat and milk is only when they mitareva tam, meaning when you mix the tam of meat and milk. Therefore, when the meat is dry and you come and you add the milk, there's nothing there. However, though, you're never allowed to consume dried inedible meat from a non-kosher animal, right? Or even from a dye from a bug, because it's intrinsically prohibited. Meaning like this, imagine I take pig and I dry it up. Now you're allowed to eat it? It's pig. What do I care now that it's dry? But it's pig. So says the Nord of Yehuda, when it was basar v'chalav, each one is mutar. The isur, it was when I put them both together. Kishani marev otam. If each one on their own is mutar, and now this is dry, and now I put the milk, there was no basar v'chalav. But he says, but if it's going to be that it's something which is already prohibited, not because the yavesh, not because it's dry, I'm allowed to come and eat from it. So Nord of Yehuda says, what are you talking about? You can't compare those cases. Right? It doesn't really make sense. So the machloke between the Tiferet Tzvi and the Nod of Yehuda has tremendous ramifications for the permissibility of gelatin and bug dye. According to the Tiferet Tzvi, mutar. according to the Nod of Yehuda, Asur. What's halacha l'maaseh? That's the question. Capish? Yeah, everyone here? Okay. So, initially, the chief rabbinate of Israel gave the hechsher on gelatin. So, the Rabbanut Harashit ken natnu et hechsher al gelatin based on the psak of Rav Ovadia Yosef. In a lengthy tshuva in Yebiyah Omen, this is number 32. Look at number 32. He comes and he says, "Mikom makom achronim cholkim alav umatirim michol ofen." ואז הוא מביא אחר כך שהנוד ביהודה שחילק, הוא אומר דברים נסתרים מדברי הרשב"א, ושכם מוכן מדברי הרמב"ם, שאין לחלק בזה, והנה אין נכון הדבר שאין בעצמות איסור כלל אפילו מדרבנן, ואז הוא ממשיך ואומר, וטוחנים אותם לידי כתב, עד שנהפך הכל לאבק דק, he comes and you make it into a powder, right? You ממש, you make it as if like it's nothing. So he says, ופנים חדשות באו לכאן, he wants to say it's new face here, it's a new entity, nothing to do with what it was, new entity. יש אדמות דבר זה מה שכתוב רבנו יונה, יש טעם להתירו באכילה משום דפרי שבע, he says פרי שבע, it's like nothing. It's there's nothing there. It's a complete there's nothing here. So he says even though at the beginning it was going to be considered asur, now it should be mutar. That's shitat Rav Ovadia. So he comes and he says, Rav Ovadia says there's no opinion, there's no problem. He has a second consideration to do on a shutach yezer that he says the gelatin made from bones is certainly permitted. He explains Shulchan Aruch that dried bones from a nivela is allowed, and even if the piece of non-kosher meat connected to a bone falls into your stew, you could still combine the non-kosher bone with a kosher food 60 times to be mvatel. So yeah, it's bone. So you could just tosif, add on 60 times, and then bon appetit. So he says, however, it should be pointed out that today that only about 25% of animal-based gelatin is made from bones. The vast majority is made from pig skin. So it's not bones. Meaning if it was bones, you had an extra heter. Now you don't have that because only 25% is made out of the bones. The majority is going to be from pig skin and 3% from fish, right? And now again, the fish is usually from the non-kosher fish, right? But whatever. So Rav Ovadia comes and he suggests a third reason to allow gelatin based upon Rabbeinu Yonah. The Rabbeinu Yonah, he comes and he says, right, that when something non-kosher has such a change to the point that it's unrecognizable and no longer resembles its original form, it becomes permissible because we only look at its current form and not what it's going to be used to be. Meaning, we go after now. So right? So he says, therefore, there are those that want to say that gelatin used for candies and medicine no longer has a form of non-kosher animal skin or fat, and therefore it's going to be permitted. Okay, so that is the shita of Rav Ovadia. So Rav Ovadia brought down three different svarot. Lama le'atir, why to say that it's mutar, the gelatin. Until we were clear.
הרב עובדיה מכיר בגם?
מה זה גם?
מסטיק.
כן, candies. Candies. אפילו candies. One minute. Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 second. We're going to see. 1 second. You have to shwai.
Isn't why we change the blessing cornflakes, there's cornflakes and there's cornflakes.
The why?
The fact that it's not corn anymore. They grind it.
Yeah. So that was one of his svarot.
Yeah.
One of his svarot was the second that it became ground up, it's panim chadashot ba'alukan. It's something completely new. Now the question is, you've got a few questions on that as well, because to do with cornflakes, it's all heter. So the only difference is the bracha. The question is, can I do that lechatchila for nisur? So to minute, haim mutar li lechatchila lakach et isur, ani ekach pig, I'm going to grind it up, right? Or I don't know how you can make it a powder, but whatever, you're going to grind it up and make it into mamash like nothing, right? And now you're going to tell me now it's mutar. Can you do that lechatchila? You know, like that's the question. By the cornflakes, anyway, there's a big difference. But again, the concept though that he was saying was, right? Ma. No, מה שהוא התכוון להגיד שלמה בקורנפלקס כן ראינו שיש הבדל בין האם זה היה אבק דק ואתה עשית מזה קורנפלקס או הקורנפלקס אמיתיים. קורנפלקס אמיתיים שזה נעשה מתירס אמיתי זה האדמה. קורנפלקס שנעשה מקמח תירס זה שהכל. ועכשיו שאלה למה? בגלל זה לא היה מתירס אמיתי, זה היה מקמח תירס. זאת אומרת, אתה עשית מזה אבק ואז עשית מזה את הקורנפלקס. תלמה. Remember we said תלמה זה שהכל. קורנפלקס של קלוגס ודברים אחרים, בדרך כלל תלמה זה היה שחור, אולי תלמה זה היה... There was a different things. You have to check for meal, you know. Finally.
It's like...
רגע, קורן מיל, מה זה?
Next week.
שהכל?
Hold on one second.
מה זה לא קוראים, מה זה...
So you know what? Give me 2 minutes and then you'll do it because there's also going to be a next one also.
Rabbi.
You already want to put the next one?
לא יודע אם זה actual.
So come here and get this one.
Sorry, I'm like, why are you talking about corn?
No. He just came and this is the one on cheese making. Get that one one
הוא
second.
הקיש,
Right?
משהו אחר.
Ken, he made a cash. Right? What does it mean he made a cash?
זה איסור.
Without the Yisur, exactly. He made a cash. He just said that we do find, what was the Svara of Rav Ovadia? One of the Svarot to be Mekel. That once you came and you made it into a powder, so now it's Panim Chadasho Ba'ulekan. Zemashu Chadash. It's something new. So what he was trying to say, we saw that already in these halachot when you take cornflakes and different types of cornflakes. Some cornflakes was Berachav Hadama. And some cornflakes was She'akol. Why? Because the Kellogg's and all that, it's real corn. And they come and they make it into cornflakes.
Okay, but
Other type of cornflakes, it's fake corn. Why do they fake? Because they made it into a powder. They made it into like cornmeal. And then they come and they make the cornflakes. So because that would be a shakol. So you wanted to say it's the same thing. Selamim shos. Why? You got the, you know,
Gelatin.
what? No. So you want to say that just like the gelatin should be mutar when you come and you crush it up, just like the cornflakes, so you come and you're going to change it. Yeah?
But on the gelatin, we see there is meat.
No, there's איסור, exactly, that's the difference.
Okay.
אז
Yeah.
רגע, מה האדמה? מה רשום באינגרדיאנטס? איזה אדמה?
מה?
בקורנפלקס, מה...
לא, veggie.
איזה אדמה?
תלוי איזה
veggie
cornflakes.
working.
אם זה קלוג, זה האדמה.
לגמרי.
איזה באינגרדיאנטס?
No, if it's written cornmeal or just written corn.
קורנמין שהכל אמרנו.
Cornmeal זה שקול.
אוקיי, והאדמה?
Corn.
It's
Fine.
like the potato, mashed potatoes that they come in powder,
Yeah.
Rabbi.
Yes, exactly.
That's why we don't bless.
100%. Let's go. Next. Okay, quickly. So now it goes like this. Okay, fine. Rav Yecheskel Avramsky. This is in the Tzitz Eliezer. So in the Tzitz Eliezer is going to be on number 33. Okay, fine. He says like this. He says over there, I'm going to fly through it. He says the opinion of Rabbi Yonah cannot be used to permit gelatin because the finish. Remember, what did Rav Vadia was the third shita? The third reason of Rav Vadia was Rabbi Yonah. Shall we go after now? We're only looking at now. So he comes and he says, you can't use that Rabbi Yonah. Why? He comes and he says, because the finished gelatin product is not a new creation. Rather, it's a process that just extracts the useful components of the pigskin. In other words, when candy manufacturers cause pigskin to undergo a chemical change, they're not changing the pigskin, but rather just extracting the beneficial ingredients from the skin. He explains that when Rabbi Yonah permits non-kosher substance from the change of the new form, he was referring to blood that changed into something new. However, when the gelatin, nothing changed. Rather, the gelatin is just extracted from the animal skin. Everyone understood? Od pam. When did Rabbi Yonah matir? Rabbi Yonah says, if you took an entity and I changed it completely. So you had blood and now you changed it. So panim chadashot, it's something new. He says here, I didn't change anything. What I did was I took pig skin of pig and I extracted from it. I took out from it the best of what I need, which is the gelatin. So I didn't change anything. That's not called a change. A change is I come and I take something, an item, and I completely הופך את זה. פה לא הפכתי כלום. אני לקחתי בעיקרון את הדברים הכי טובים מהפג, ואני משתמש בזה. כן, זה לא נקרא שינוי, זה לא נקרא שום דבר. מה עשית? So he says you can't use that. למעשה, Rav Vadia allows the use of all gelatin. If the gelatin is made from bones, it is certainly permissible, as the Shulchan Aruch paskins. But Rav Vadia allows gelatin even if it comes from pigskin based on the Tiferet Tzvi approach. And Agaon Rav Amar writes that even the Nod of Yehuda would agree that today's gelatin is permitted because in the process of creating gelatin, the gelatin becomes inedible for a dog. And therefore, the Nod of Yehuda explicitly writes that if it's no longer used for a dog, you could do it. So, בגלל שבאמצע התהליך זה נהיה פסול לאכילת כלב, זאת אומרת, הכלב לא יכול לאכול את זה כבר. Right? The dog can't eat it anymore. So it's inedible. Once it's inedible, it's mutar, even according to Nod of Yehuda. So according to Rav Amar, he says like Rav Ovadia, there's no problem whatsoever. The majority of the Ashkenazi poskim do not allow the use of gelatin in foods. Okay?
Wow.
He says here, right, Rav Moshe forbids gelatin, and the Tshuva also forbids it, declaring that no hechsher should give gelatin approval. The reason is that although gelatin becomes inedible for the dog, the moment you mix it into your candy or marshmallow to give it fluff, you consider it food. That's called achsheve. Achsheve means you make it chashuv. So the truth is, we already have this in Ilchot Pesach. To do with chametz and Pesach, you remember we spoke about this in chametz and Pesach. You come, and the second that you come and you say, I want this medicine, you were just machshiv that beforehand you're going to tell me that the medicine was batel because the chametz, whether it's was a binary, what it was called, the cornstarch. What comes from the wheat? No, emilan. The emilan. The emilan comes from wheat starch, right? Emilan. So the emilan, which is usually either used as a binder or as a filler, right? Or all these things. But at the end of the day, the second that you're ochel את זה, אתה אוכל את זה, מה קורה? אז עכשיו אתה מחשיב את זה. ברגע שאתה מחשיב את זה, now it's a problem. So he wants to say that it's the same thing. Chazon Ish also seems to paskin that even when foods become inedible, if you eat, right, to benefit from it, it's considered akshav and forbidden. זה בא מחיטה, ובגלל זה זה חמץ, בפסח. לא, זה בא מחיטן, תסתכל. אמילן זה בא מוויט סטארץ'. Right? Therefore, the Chazon Ish allows swallowing pills with chametz, which has been disqualified even from the doctor, because when you swallow it, your intention is only for medical reasons. However, he says if your intention is also specifically for the chametz ingredients, it would be forbidden again. Shuvot Managot says that if one needs to consume medicine that contains gelatin, he should first make it bitter and then consume it in such a manner that it's going to be only the Rabbanan, and therefore there won't be a problem. Okay? Now he comes and says, Minchat Yitzchak also says it's asur. Look how many already said asur. So you're right. The Sfaradim, you had Rav Ovadia and Rav Amar say it's mutar, but then you had Rav Moshe Feinstein, Shuvot Banagot was Moshe Sternbach. You had the Chazon Ish. You have the Minchat Yitzchak, Rav Yitzchak Weiss. As mentioned in Israel, the chief rabbin initially gave the Hechal, right? But today the Rabbanut only certifies gelatin from animals that were shechted properly or from fish. Most reputable hashgachot in the U.S., including OU, Starcase, CRC, also do not certify food with non-kosher gelatin or bug dye. So don't mention ad hayom rubam lo machshirim. Yeah, the majority of them.
All we spoke about so far, that was Rav Ovadia, that he was already machshir there.
That's it. It was only Rav Ovadia. Everybody else
And
Rav Amar after Rav Ovadia. At the beginning they allowed it, and then afterwards they retracted. Yeah, even today. Today they don't do it. Today they were only on kosher gelatin.
And they do the same thing in Pesach.
Yes.
So what do you do?
I'm always machmir lechatchila.
So
meaning like this, he just asked me, it might have gelatin. If you're going to tell me go like Rav Ovadia, no problem. I don't do that. I first find out is a kosher gelatin or not. That's why I ask a pharmacist that he looks into it, and he tells me if it's a kosher one or not kosher one. And after that, if let's say it's a kosher one, so there's no problem. If it's a non-kosher one, right, I'll ask the pharmacist, what is it used for? Because if it's going to tell me that it's mamash machala or something that the person needs, so then okay, fine. So mamash is a chole. But if it's going to be stam, a person wants a candies, a person wants a certain type of vitamins, get a kosher vitamin.
Or if there's a
substitute. Get a kosher vitamin. Yeah, or a substitute. Or a substitute, a kosher substitute. Yeah.
Kosher substitute.
So it's better not Advil gel. You don't need an Advil gel. If you could take the Advil, which is the pill or the coated, whatever it is, but it's not a gel coated, why are you going to have it? מה הוא נתקע? יש לך בזה, מה נתקע? מה נתקע? אתה נתקע, בן אדם נתקע, הוא תקוע בראש.
אתה בולע את זה.
אז אתה יכול לסמוך על הרב עובדיה.
טוב, בסדר.
לא, אבל אתה בולע.
Carmine, practical applications. Practical applications.
Rabbi, what do you say? I mean, basically, the Advil that is a capsule.
Yeah, it's a problem.
No, so coated pills also are actually
no, coated not. Is only the gelatin ones, the gel caps. Right? Okay, Carmine, let's go quickly. We have to finish. One of the most common bug dyes is called Carmine, which is a bright red dye used in many candies, cereals, ice creams, and yogurts. Right? So therefore, very important, right? He says we saw two main leniencies to allow gelatin that would apply here also as well. Inedible for dogs and like the Tiferet Tzvi. Right? זאת אומרת, יש אותם שתי דברים שזה היה, שזה לא ראוי לאכילה כלב, וגם כן התפארת צבי, שזה כבר לא כלום, בגלל שזה כבר יבש כלום, אותו דבר פה. He says when Trix Cereal wanted to get certified by the OU, they had to change their dye from Carmine to Red 40. Same thing.
They're going to eliminate the red.
I know that. When also the red dye, they're going to eliminate it. Right? He says similarly, when Coca-Cola approached the OU for Achshed, they had to remove their bug-based dye. So why would Coca-Cola be asur? You know why Coca-Cola would be asur? No, legamre, tamid, lama. He says because they use the bug dye, so they had to change it to the red dye. Okay. By the way, it actually came out. And גם כן הם משתמשים בבג דאי. עם צבע מבג, מתולעים. והרבה שיטות, רוב השיטות, זה מה שהוא אומר, הרבה שיטות אוסרים את זה. No, any Coke, the dye of the red dye. The dye was, meaning if you're going to look at the back of a Coke, it's going to be written red 40. Okay? So now he comes and he says like this, right? It says red 40.
No.
הבירה גם יש בו.
מה עם הקוקה? אין פה.
לא, יש לך OU על הכל.
יש?
It doesn't even tell you. Caramel color. So, okay, the caramel color is this, it had the bug dye. So they used the bug dye. Now they had to change it. They had to remove it. Yeah, yeah, it's OU. Yeah, OU. So he says on the top. On the top. No. Yeah, it should be noted, right? It should be noted, right, that in certain regions, Kellogg's Fruit Loops and Special K Red Berry cereal, right, it only has a K, and a K is not a real hechsher, obviously, uses carmine as a red dye and should not be used according to the above kashrut organizations. So again, you have a problem, right? One more time, Fruit Loops and Special Red K berries. So again, im yesh leze OU, אתה יודע שזה כשר 100%, you know it's 100% kosher. If it doesn't have a U, so that's why. So other examples are the popular candies that use carmine is Skittles. Hello, Skittles. Why would Skittles not be kosher? M&M's, Jelly Belly, all these things. So he says, therefore,
What is exactly carmine?
carmine is a bug dye, a colorant, rouge that comes from the bugs.
We don't know what.
I don't know, whatever bugs. I don't know. Which one?
No, but
It comes from a bug. How do you say carmine in?
yeah.
Karma. There you go. Okay. Fine. So he says here, all of those things are kosher all over the United States, but you have to be very careful when you're traveling to Europe, Russia, and South America. Yes, but that's why. זאת אומרת, all these things, Skittles, M&M's, Jelly Belly, they're all kosher.
M&M's
What you did?
most like.
What happens? What happens though if I go now to Russia? Skittles or not? Okay.
Now
The one from England, the Skittles from England are kosher.
So then they're not kosher.
Yeah,
Huh?
M&M's are
Are they?
Skittles, they're not kosher.
Not kosher.
The Skittles are kosher in the US.
Exactly. In the US, certain ones.
No, last year they make it kosher. Yeah.
Yeah?
From England, the one from England, the Skittles are kosher.
It's not kosher then.
So bring me containers.
Skittles.
Next time.
Yeah, Mentos also. It's not kosher. You have to buy the kosher one. It looks the exact same.
Used to be.
Yeah.
We went
the Skittles that I saw
Yeah.
London.
one guy
Have to be
He
careful.
bought a whole
kosher in the US.
thing of Skittles because the Skittles from England, they were kosher. And the one from America,
It's
they
not
were
kosher.
not.
So you have
מה זה סקוט?
Skittles סוכריות. כמו M&M's.
לא.
כמו M&M's. זה נראה אותו דבר כמעט. או נראה אותו דבר. אבל לא אותו טעם.
סוכריות קופצות?
כן, זה כמו סוכריות קופסות. כמו קופסות. משהו דומה. Something. Gelatin capsules. Today, many of the medicines and vitamins are made with gel capsules containing gelatin since they're easy to swallow. Is one allowed to use that? So according to Rav Ovadia, right, it would seem you're permitted. It would be forbidden according to the Tshuvot Vanagot and everything else, mixed with something bitter. But Rav Belsky wished to differentiate between soft gels and hard gels. While Rav Schechter felt that both were okay for medical reasons, as quoted in following excerpt from the OU's website. Rabbi Belsky would differentiate between two types of gelatin capsules, hard capsules and soft capsules. Regarding medicines that are encased in hard gelatin capsules, Rabbi Belsky said that minhag is permit them for a choleh. This is based on the concept that a choleh is permitted to consume non-kosher medicines, provided that one does so shelo k'derech achila, in an uncommon manner. Zot omeret, ze lo derech achila. Since it's uncommon to eat dried out plastic like gelatin capsules, so therefore it's going to be permitted. So you're allowed to have Tylenol capsules. Because Tylenol tablets are, so he says, but you should not swallow Tylenol capsules, because you have the tablets. Meaning, אם יש לך את הכשר, למה שתאכל את הלא כשר?
not kosher?
The gelatin ones. The gelatin.
The gelatin.
אם אתה נוסע ולא מוצא, אז...
עוד פעם, אם אתה לא מוצא בכלל, ואתה בהונולולו, ולא יודע מה, ואתה תגיד לי עכשיו ש...
עכשיו 12 בלילה, אתה צריך 2 כדורים.
מה 2 כדורים? יש לך, CVS, יש לך מיליון.
יש לך 2 כדורים.
יש לך, מה שאתה ליד המיטה שלך? זה לא אמור להיות במיטה שלך. זה לא אמור להיות במיטה שלך. אתה קונה לו כשר בתוך הבית שלך, ואז אתה אומר, אין לי שום דבר אחר. איווה, שכנה בגין.
תגיד לאובר להביא לך את זה.
תראה, השכנים מביאים...
אני מביא לך 12 בלילה, 2 כדורים, אתה תצא עכשיו ל-CBS.
איזה שכנים יש לך? However, Rav Belsky felt that soft gelatin capsules...
זה לא שכנים, זה שכנות.
עכשיו הבנתי את הכל.
תתפלל על שכנים טובים.
However, Rav Belsky felt that soft gelatin capsules, which are often used in vitamins, fish oils, and some other over-the-counter medicines, should not be used because the gelatin is soft and pliable. Rav Belsky was concerned that swallowing gelatin in this form might not be considered uncommon. So the minute im ze ken derech achila, right, because it's like common to do it this way, so now you don't have the heter anymore. So therefore, he says that you're not allowed to do it anymore.
אתה שותה את זה ישירות, זה בעיה, לא?
לא, זה אותו דבר. כאילו הוא אומר זה אותו דבר. זאת אומרת, ברגע שזה רך, זה בעייתי לפי רב בelsky. רך. אם זה כבד, אז לא. But Rav Shechter, right, Rav Shechter,
The absorption of the Tylenol with capsule is immediate. And the coated one is between 30 and 45 minutes.
oh wow.
Because it's liquid, it's inside, so.
ג'לטינית סמוכה.
yeah.
אתה רואה?
Okay, right.
Hechal.
Let's have the kosher one.
C'est immédiat.
מוכרים אותם.
מעניין. יש לנו רופא.
לא, בוודאי זה...
כן? לא יודע.
הוא אמר לי, זה רע.
לא, הוא אמר שאם זה עם הג'לטין, אז זה מיד זה נכנס וזהו, זה מיד עובד. הוא אומר, אם זה טאבלטס, זה לוקח בין חצי שעה ל-45 דקות.
לא, כי יש הרבה פרודקטס שאין עליהם קשר, אבל קשרים בלית.
לא, אבל צריך לבדוק את זה. By the way, today, it came out from OU, Star K, and I don't remember what else, that beers are going to need to be kosher on a list.
Years?
Yes. Beer. לבייר.
I know, בירה, now you can...
דוגמה, רד ביר, אין לזה הסתר.
יש אויו ברנבול.
אין?
יש.
Mais c'est pas bon.
יש.
זה.
100%.
On the actual bottle.
Yes, Laurent, you want to bring me my phone? So you want to bring me my phone? My phone, you want to bring it? So I can show them the letter. I'll read to them the letter.
I looked for it.
לא, אבל הרב, אני
The
דיברתי.
problem is, half
ג'לי, you know, ג'לי בר.
אני גם איתם על זה.
פאבליק, לא כשר. אני ראיתי אותו עדיפה,
אבל עוד
שמה
פעם,
מדבקה מאחורה, מנייר, על האריזה, מוכרים את זה.
לפעמים, they do that when they have a kosher run.
ג'ון ג'אק.
What does that mean a kosher run? זאת אומרת, זה עשוי באיזה factory, באיזה, איך אומרים? איך אומרים factory בעברית?
כדורים יותר טובים.
בית חרושת, באיזה בית חרושת שזה לא כשר.
כדורים.
ואז מכשילים את זה,
תמיד.
אבל לא מכשילים את זה לתמיד,
לוקח.
מכשילים את זה לפעם אחת, ואז הם נותנים את זה להיכנס.
אפילו להיכנס.
ואז על הפקטים האלה הם שמים את המדבקה. אבל באמת זה לא כשר. כאילו זאת אומרת, בדרך כלל זה לא כשר, אלא רק בזה. כן? Here it says like this, listen carefully.
Also, they do that in Bordeaux and everything.
What do they do for the wine?
Non, ils font une production. Mais c'est des vignobles qui ne sont pas cachés.
They say things like this, but their lists are unreliable.
They just started, 1 minute.
They all have different lists. One says one thing is kosher.
Orthodox Union. Dear OU Food Service Proprietors and Mashkichim, we are writing to inform you that about an upcoming policy change. We're almost done. Guys, let's listen carefully. Shh, écoute-moi. Huh? Okay, fine. Right? He says like this, about an upcoming policy change regarding the acceptability of beer. Historically, unflavored beers were generally assumed to be kosher due to their simple ingredients, water, hops, barley, yeast. However, the rise of craft brewing and new production methods has led to proliferation of flavored beers, right? Diverse additives, and shared equipment that can compromise the kosher status of even seemingly straightforward brews. After much research, as well as consultation with other leading kashrus agencies, including the Star K and OK, it has been collectively determined that these developments necessitate a more stringent approach to ensure strict kosher standards will consistently be met. As such, beginning January 1st, 2026, all beers served in OU establishments or at certified functions or events will only be allowed with reliable kosher certification. We are attaching a partial list of the current kosher certified breweries, which contains almost 1,000 beers that are already kosher certified. Note, right, that many national brand beers already have kosher oversight and will therefore remain acceptable even without a symbol on the label. All craft brews would be required to have kosher symbol or letter indicating kashrut. We would encourage and reinforce that you contact us in advance of any event. Now everything changed. Means a person once upon a time, פעם הוא חשב, בירה זה תמיד כשר. עכשיו זה לא נכון. Now it's not true.
I'm gonna be.
Yeah, now that's it. It's
Same
stopped.
status as
לא, אבל הבירות המוכרות.
Not always. Not always. Not always. have to be careful. That's only if it's bemet only in the equipment.
Why?
Huh?
What was the problem?
Because there's other things, additives and other things that they start and shared equipment. I don't know.
So now it needs to be on the list.
So it has to be a list. So January 26th.
זה לא קשר לפסח?
Find an item on Surfside
פיני, הפסח?
which is permissible, and on Star K which is not recommended.
It could be because there's machlokot. So at the end of the day, they go after machlokot.
But they have to publish a list so that people know.
כן, בפסח אי אפשר. It seems that according to Rav Belsky, if one has a very bad headache, are you, אתה שומע או לא? He says like this. Yeah, he says if one has a very bad headache. Yeah, מרדכי, יש לו כאבי ראש היום בלילה, חבל על הזמן, הוא נותן לי כאבי ראש. Right? And only has Advil liquid gels. Right? הוא קיבל את זה מהשכינה. Right? He's allowed to swallow it. Right? He's allowed to swallow it. But when shopping for Advil, you should avoid buying any type of Advil, gel. Regarding soft gels, Rebesky felt that you should wrap it in a tissue or something else. But Rav Shachter Paskins, you can take it normally without anything. Yeah. So he says that pills today are never considered the normal way of eating, and therefore it is fine.
Wrap it in a
אם
tissue.
יש לך ליד
Tissue, any paper or whatever.
הנה.
Yeah, fine. Cheese making, last one.
You don't need to go to the pharmacy if you have it next to your bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. When he has a very bad headache.
Let's put that shit on the.
Huh?
It's a day.
We're going to do it next time. Saskili, next time, remind me.
No.
Yeah, because Laurent already left. So next time, we're just going to finish though. And then next time we have to continue. H, cheese making. Okay?
You want me to put the again? Whatever.
One at a time.
You know, let's just finish reading and then you put it on to see it.
Okay.
Cheese making, laso gvina. He says like this, one of the most popular ways of making expensive cheese is by adding rennet. What is rennet? A piece of the calf's stomach. So to minute, right? Or all these gvinot, or you know, like all these בדיוק, הגבינה של ג'ון ז'אק. Yeah, remember, the worse it smells, the better it is. Yeah, so it sounds like this. Yeah, so what happens? כן, הבנת מה שאמרתי, כן? רב יעקב, הבנת? אמרתי, יותר שזה מריח רע, זה יותר טעים כאילו. Yeah, so what happens? You've got, בדיוק. Yeah, so what happens? You add rennet to the milk. And you let it sit until the milk curdles. Look at the video. In the olden days, this was only method used, and it is still common today with some fancy cheesemakers, right? We said we learned earlier that although there's no biblical prohibition soaking meat and milk together, but you're not allowed to do this kavush kavushal. So the question is, are you allowed to do this or not? Because again, kavush kavushal, zelo bishul amiti. It's not real bishul, but kavush kavushal could be a problem if you're going to soak something for 24 hours. Kavush kavushal. So he says like this. Bet Yosef quotes the Gemara in Chulin, which teaches that making cheese with rennet is only forbidden if you're able to taste the meat. The Rashba explains that the prohibition of Basav Chalav applies when the milk and meat flavors fuse together, but if the meat is not tasted in the milk, so therefore it's going to be no problem, no prohibition. However, you're never allowed to use the rennet from a non-kosher animal in Nevilah, since it's a ma'amid, a gelling agent. And therefore, the halacha is ma'amid, ze'afam lo batel. So, ma'amid is not batel. Ma'amid is something that holds up something else. So since it holds up something else, it's never batel. So he says, so then the question is, so why is it going to be, why is the kosher rennet batel in the milk?
What do they mean by ma'amid? That it makes it
No, because you're holding it. אתה מעמיד את החלב באור קיבת נבלה. אז מעמיד, כשאתה שם משהו במשהו אחר, זה נקרא מעמיד.
The rennet is an animal?
Yes, it comes from the stomach of an animal, of a meat animal. Meat. Cow. Yeah, cow.
But the cow is kosher.
Yeah, but basar v'chalav, you're putting milk in the meat of the stomach of the animal. Right, the answer is that the meat and milk are independently permitted, and therefore they're only forbidden when you fuse a flavor. Here, there's no fuse of flavor. Shulchan Aruch Paskins in Tzifid Aleph, according to that, the rennet of a non-kosher animal is never batel, because it's ma'amid, and therefore it's going to be prohibited. However, rennet from kosher meat does not forbid the cheese so long as there's no flavor. Right? That means if it's a non-kosher animal, it's a problem. If it's kasher, so then it's only because of taste, of tam, and tam.
So
there's
the
no tam.
issue is because the rennet is basar, and you put it with milk.
With milk. So now the question now is, what
protein
about...
of basar.
Yes. Okay, however, though, we have another isur. Meaning, this is what we spoke about beforehand, I can't be mevatel an isur. I can't take pig, crush it up, and say, it's only powder. So bon appetit. You can't do that. Right? So he says, one second, so he says, just like you're not allowed to pour a few drops of milk into a meaty soup until there's 60 times, you say, imagine right now I've got adafina, chamin. So what do I want to do? I take milk, I pour a little bit in. You're going to say, Baba Haki, what did you just do? He's going to say, yeah, but it's a... No pasa nada.
היה לנו
Yeah.
קייס כזה בטריטרי.
Yeah, 3314, we had the case of the milk and the children. Yeah, so what happens? But Baba Haki wants to add a little bit of milk. He's going to say, Batel. I'm going to tell him, yeah, but what does that mean? Lechatchila, you cannot Batel Isur. So Baba Haki can't add a little bit of milk and wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then he's going to add a little bit more and wait another 10 minutes. He's going to say, what? It's so little, it's Batel B'shishim. You can't do that. Yeah, so he says we can answer based upon, right, the Taz. Taz Paskins, right, the Taz Paskins, the prohibition of Isur is if that's your primary intention. But if you intend to do something else, so therefore it's going to be permitted. So you want to annul the Isur. Here, you don't want to annul the Isur. You want something else. Right? Oh, by the way, but that's not your main intention. So the Taz is used by the OU to give a share on strawberry jam, even though the strawberries were not checked for bugs. Anybody ever saw that? Imagine, they take strawberries, they crush it up, and now you've got jam. Confiture. But how do you have confiture? Why? It's a problem. There's bugs. Yeah, but there's no bugs anymore. Why? Because they crushed them up. Right? And they risku et kol hatolaim, et kol ma shaya. As gamalu, kadish. Right? Sufganiya. Yeah, so you enjoy. So he says, the halacha is that a bidia is never batel. But they come and they crush it up. Now, 1 second. Strawberries have a very high rate of bugs. So how do you do it then? You crush the strawberries, and then there's no problem. See, Kamni says, but there's why? Their kavanah is not to crush the bugs. What is their kavanah?
To crush the fruit.
To crush the fruit. They want confiture, they want jam. They don't want now crushed bugs. So therefore, as long as their main intention, the main kavanah, zelo levatel et isur, there's no isur. So he says, similarly, Rav Shechter said, right, that when needed, you're allowed to buy a kosher plain coffee, right, from McDonald's, even though the person before you ordered non-kosher coffee. He says, why? There might be a few drops, right, of the coffee still left in the spout. He says, why? It's batel. Right? Gamken, he says again, because the intention of the employee filling up the cup is just to buy a coffee, not to be batel the non-kosher coffee. And that's also the psak of Rav Eliashiv in the Shuvot also. Capish?
Did you go ever, Rabbi,